like I said, for the longest time, I was just agnostic, atheistic, really, but I was not bold enough to pretend that I actually know what happens when you die or what happens outside of my sphere. So like I didn't like to even like Richard Dawkins, who's like the most famous atheist. If you ask him, he says, "Well, I'm an agnostic," but if you ask which way I'm leaning atheistic. For the similar thing, where it's just like, well, I don't know. Like science, we don't have proof, And so for a long time, that's where I was. But as someone who doesn't like to be closed-minded, because anybody can dig their heels in and go, I believe that the earth is flat and you can't tell me otherwise, and you don't want to be a flat earther unless you are a flat earther, then maybe you do. I don't know. They do use the scientific method. Sometimes they want to build spaceships and stuff to go up. I don't think they're going to like what they see when they get up there, but I'm sure they can explain it away. But anyway, and so I would often think like, what would it take? Like, what would it take for me to believe, because I'd listen to these people, like Christian type people, and what you hear they talk, and faith is not the same as facts, right? You have faith in something because you can't prove it. Like you have to have faith when you can't prove something. If you can prove it's there, like without getting into theoretical kind of stuff, it's like, this is here. It's like, I can prove it. Look, just did it, without getting into weird theoretical physics type stuff.
Just going to go that route.
Yeah. Don't want to get into that. I can't even touch it. But technically, you never do come in contact. But without
your hand should pass through that.
It should. It doesn't. But it never comes in contact either. Anyway, so I was always sitting there thinking like, okay, so it's never going to be proven scientifically to me unless something miraculous happens, Like, okay, like what can I do, right? And so I hit this we'll just say I hit a low point in my life, and where things weren't great, and but after that passed, it was bad in sort of a gun in the mouth sort of way. But after that passed, I'm good. I did notice that like I'd have this time where I'd be running an errand, and then car would buzz by, and the brain would go, if you just took a step out, you wouldn't have to deal with any of this stuff tomorrow. It's like, let me get my bills organized. It's like, you wouldn't have to if you killed yourself. And so there'd be this thought, and but at the same time, I wasn't feeling depressed, And so it was just one of those things where it was like this constant. It was just always this option, it's like, you go here, or you kill yourself. And so you go like, this is an odd feeling. And the only thing, and then at some point I heard Nikki Glaser actually on Joe Rogan say something about it, where she's like, I don't know, sometimes you just say, I kill myself. She's like, I'm not suicidal though. And I'll say, hey, there it is. Someone else says this thing. And so, but as time went on, it would become more of a frustrating thing. It felt more and more like the thought was not my own, which is a crazy thing to say. I understand that sounds crazy, and and so I was like, God, it's annoying. It's annoying. It's not in my world. It's not an option. It's not an actual option. It's not something I'm exploring, and I'm actually very happy and settled and all that kind of stuff. So one time I'm just sitting there cooking. And I go, oh, and I think maybe it popped in my head, and I was like, maybe that's what it would be. I was like, I would believe in God if suddenly he could make my head stop telling me to kill myself. And immediately, I know, I'm a cynic too, I get it. But immediately after thinking this, there was they say the weight lifted from you. There was that sort of feeling. And literally, that stopped happening. It just stopped. And I know people, well, you told yourself to stop doing it. It's like, yeah, I've been telling myself for years, this is stupid. I hate, it was one of those things, for years, I've been, trying to figure it out and get it to go away and all this kind of stuff. And, but just like that, gone.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I don't know how crazy I want to get with this, but
Let's get crazy.
I know. And so, but after that, I did notice there was a couple times I've had like very vivid dreams, just a couple that were like, I don't know, it felt like there was something more behind it. All right, this one stuck with me for a while, right? Okay. So I'm in the neighborhood I grew up in, right? And so growing up, we used to wander the alleys and all that kind of stuff. So I'm in this alley, and I think maybe I'm delivering flowers or something. And I go,
Weird.
yeah, right. And so I go like, oh, for whatever reason, on one side of the alley, there's like a hotel, where in the residential area there's not, but whatever, it's a dream. So I go, oh, I'm gonna cut through the hotel, I guess to get back to my truck or just to peek at the hotel that's in this neighborhood. I forget why. So you go in the door and it's grand, like old school grand hotel, Peabody in Memphis, like, high ceilings, good, rugs, columns, the whatever you call the decorative sort of molding and all that kind of stuff. And I mean tall ceilings. And so I had to pee, right? Oh, that's why I went. I was like, I got to pee. It's like, oh, it's a hotel. I can use the bathroom, right? So I go, I'm looking. So I find a hostess stand. And I go up and I talk to the hostess. I'm like, someone goes, oh, the bathroom's down the stairs over there. I go, okay, cool. So I go down the stairs. There's a hostess stand at the bottom. I'm like, I'm just here to use the bathroom, And she's like, oh, well, you can do anything you want here. She's like, there's people here to urinate, to defecate. If you'd like fellatio, there's a row for that. And coitus, there's a row for that. And so I look forward, and there's like these elevated stands, like 4 rows of stuff, and people up there. And I was just like, I think I'm all right.
Like some Eyes Wide Shut type situation?
Yeah, except I assume somewhere, like I didn't have up close view of everything, but I assume some people are getting it on, some people are pooping. I don't know. Maybe some people are doing both. I'm not entirely sure.
Wild.
Yeah, and it was but a giant room, tall ceilings, and like red carpet type, stuff, and so I'm like, this is crazy. I was like, I'm good. I'll just hold it, because I was sitting there, I was like, I just want me to go up in a stand and just pee surrounded by people doing all it's like I'm good. Like this is not the comfortable hotel bathroom I was looking to attend. So I go I go up the stairs. I go back up the stairs, and there's this business guy checking in. Right, he looks like he's like a suit and tie, and looks serious man, and he says something like, oh, well, your usual, sir, that kind of thing, He's like, yeah. And they bring out a chicken, and they shove it up his keister, or he shoves it up his keister, or whatever, and then all of a sudden, he's like, his form changes in a way, or the face. Have you seen that, the meme where there's the smiling face on top of the guy's face where he's crying?
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing where it's human face, but the muscles in the back of the head were way out, just big neck, big muscles back here. And it's just I was just like, well, I've got to go, And so I found my way to an elevator, right? So I'm like, let's get upstairs to where I need to be. And I guess another subtle thing upstairs. But, upstairs to the lobby doors open. And there's a giraffe or something. There's just weird stuff walking by. And I go, around the time, I go, I don't know if I'm in the right floor. And then, in the dream, I lose total control over my perspective. So all of a sudden, I leave, I go back to the stairs, I start going right back down the stairs to where I just came from. And in my head, in my dream, I'm like, no. I don't want to go back. And it's just stuck, just going all the way back down. And then I wake up, And this thing, I mean, I can still remember it in this much detail. This was a couple of years ago or whatever. And, but it was one of these things that haunted me, where it's there's a couple of different dreams where it just felt like there's more going on. Maybe some little hooks trying to get me back type of thing.
Interesting.
And there was and I had one other, I don't really want to get into it because it's weird, but I had one other time where like there's something that was kind of bothering me about the way I was viewing. I guess the way I was viewing things, and it felt outside of the way I prefer to view things, and then like I kind of had another. I don't know. I had a moment, I guess, a moment where it seemed to reveal to me that perhaps this was a similar thoughts not my own type matter. And so for the second time, I attempted this same thing where basically, I guess we call it prayer, where I basically like, hey, I think that this is something that is not under my control, and I need help to get it under control. And once again, like immediate, and without getting in, it's hard to get into it without, some things are more personal. But like, I don't know, it's one of these interesting things where like tested a second time, and the degree to which it was effective was surprising. I am a willful person, I would say, but not really. Like day to day, I'm pretty much just doing the same stuff. We just, you do what you do day to day. Like if I had the strongest willpower in the world, I don't know, I probably wouldn't be drinking beer during a podcast. But I like it. So I don't know. So from that point on, and then reinforced later, like I do believe in God.
Okay.
Yeah. And so now
You heard it here, folks.
I know. And the funny, most of the listeners don't know me from anybody else, but like, I used to proudly exclaim atheistic type things, or no fear of the afterlife. When you die, it's all darkness. It's all black. It's just like before you were born. There's nothing waiting for you, so there's no consequence to saying crazy things or, attempting to pick a fight with a deity or something like that. But it is outside of the way most people would, if people had known me for 35 years or something, it'd be outside of what they would expect to hear out of my mouth.
Correct.
Hey, you've only known me 32 years. You can't say anything.